Good day, doctor. We are from Group 6. Now I will present about the PPL for Level 1. For reliability test, it has shown the table of Chromba alpha of TV and IV. In our research, our TV is consumer behavior and intentions to use cashless payment. And our IV is performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, facilitating condition, and trust. As we can see in the table, all variables have compa alpha more than 0.7. Consumer behavior and intentions to use cashless payment has the highest compa alpha, which is 0.94 with 6 items. Performance and effort expectancy has the same compa alpha, which is 0.89 with 5 items. Next is social influence, has compa alpha 0.86 with 5 items. And for the facilitating conditions, has compa alpha 0.88 with 5 items. And then lastly is trust, has compa alpha 0.84 with 5 items, which is the lowest but is still above 0.7. So in the conclusions, all variables are reliable to use in the research. About the profile respondent, based on the table show, the female respondent is higher than the male respondent. Female respondent has consist of 257 individual, which is 69.5%, while male respondent has consist of 113 individual, which is 30.5%. Next, we have categorized the age into 6 groups, which is less than 18 years old, 19 to 23, 24 to 28, 29 to 33, 34 to 38, and then lastly is more than 38 years old. According to the analysis, there were 223 respondents with 60.3% in the 24 to 28 age group, which is also the largest number of respondents in this group for the survey. The 34 to 38 age group has the fewest respondents with only 3 respondents, 0.8%. Less than 18 age group has 20 respondents, which is 5.4%. 24 to 28 age group has 90 respondents, which is 24.3%. The 29 to 33 age group has 16 respondents, which is 4.3%. And lastly is the more than 38 age group has 18 respondents, which is 4.9%. For education level, which has categorized into SPM, SDPM, bachelor degree, postgraduate, and others. The bachelor degree categorized has the highest number of respondents with 254 respondents, 68.6%. Postgraduate has the fewest respondents with only 11 individuals, 3%. The SPM category has 35 respondents, 9.5%. STPM categories has 37 respondents, 10%. And the other categories has 33 respondents, 8.9%. For ethnicity, which includes of Malay, Chinese, Indian, and others, the highest number is Chinese respondent, which has 326 people, 88.1%, while the lowest number is the others, only 2 people, 0.5%. The Malay respondent is 31 respondent, 8.4%, and the Indian respondent is 11 respondent, 3%. Next is about the income range. The highest number of respondents is the income range below 1,000. 237 individual, which is 64.1%, and then 90 respondents, 5.1% is the income above 4,000, which is the lowest number of respondents. 1,001 to 2,000 has 45 respondents, 12.2%. 2,001 to 3,000 has 46 respondents, 6.2%. 3,001 to 4,000 has 23 respondents, 6.2%. Next is about their frequency of using cashless payment with options of never, rarely, sometimes, and always. The majority, 250 respondents, 67.7%, choose the options of always, which means that most people frequently use cashless payment. Only 5 respondents, 1.4%, choose the options of never. The rarely options has 27 respondents, 5.3%, and the sometime options has 88 respondents, 23.8%. Next is what the respondents to select the cashless payment method they use, with options including e-wallet, debit, credit card, online transfer, and others. The majority of respondents, 166 people with 44.9%, use a combination of e-wallet, debit, credit card, and online transfer. E-wallet alone has 82 respondents, 22.2%. Combined e-wallet and online transfer has 43 respondents, 11.6%. A mix of e-wallet and debit credit card has 42 respondents, 11.4%. And then 9 respondents, 2.4%, use all the methods: e-wallet, debit credit card, online transfer, and others. Only 2 respondents, 0.5%, use a combination of e-wallet, debit credit card, and other methods. And 7 respondents, 1.9%, use debit credit card. And then 6 respondents, 1.6%, use a combination of debit credit card and online transfer. Another 7 respondents, 1.9%, use only online transfer. Lastly, the least common combinations has just 1 respondent, 0.3%, which is the online transfer and other methods. Next is about the descriptive means. According to the table, it has shown the total number, means, and standard deviations for each variable. In the table, the dependent variable is consumer behavior and intentions to use cashless payment, and it has the highest mean in 4.2881 among all variables with standard deviations 0.79. Continue is about the independent variable, which includes the performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, facilitating conditions, and trust. Among these independent variables, effort expectancy has the highest mean of 4.2476 with a standard deviations of 0.76. For the means in performance expectancy PE is 4.1989 with a standard deviations of 0.78. For the means of social influence SI is 3.9968 with a standard deviations of 0.83, and the means for facilitating conditions FC is 4.2168. The standard deviation is 0.83. Lastly is variables for trust. TR has the lowest mean in 3.9303 with a standard deviations of 0.80. So overall, all variables are moderate and neutral among the respondents in this study.
Now I will present about the result of t-test and ANOVA test. In t-test, we used to test the difference between male and female for consumer behavior intentions to use cashless payment. So in the table, the significant value shows that it's about 0.173, which is more than 0.05, and the t-value shows is negative 1.281, which is less than 2. So it means that we are failed to reject the null hypothesis, so we have to accept the null hypothesis. And based on the hypothesis statement, fail to reject the null hypothesis means there is no significant difference between male and female for consumer behavior intentions to use cashless payment. Well, in ANOVA test, we used to test the difference among ethnicity and consumer behavior intention to use cashless payment. In the table, the data show that the significant value is less than 0.001, which is less than 0.05. So it means that we can reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative hypothesis. Based on the hypothesis statement, accept the alternative hypothesis means there's a greatest difference among ethnicity and consumer behavior intention to use cashless payment. And in other words, it can say that the change of consumer behavior intention to use cashless payment can be based on ethnicity.
The table shows the correlation between independent variables, which are performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, facilitating condition, and trust. All of the variable sample size is 370 based on the observation with none missing value. All the independent variables have a positive correlation with the dependent variables. The correlation between DV and IV is consumer behavior and intention to use cashless payment and performance expectancy is 0.783, effort expectancy is 0.843, social influence is 0.724, facilitating condition is 0.869, and trust is 0.709. Based on the Pearson correlation, all the independent variables have a strong association because the coefficient range is between 0.7 to 1. All the correlations are statistically significant with p-value is less than 0.001.
Based on the model summary table, the R-square value is 0.789, indicating that 78.9% of the variance in the dependent variable can be explained by the independent variables. Consumer behavior intention to use cashless payment can be predicted by performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, facilitation condition, and trust with 78.9 accuracy. Therefore, the regression model is a good fit for the data. As a short summary, the results underscore the importance of this factor in shaping consumer behavior and highlight the robustness of the regression model in capturing the underlying patterns within the data. Based on the ANOVA of regression table, the F value is 272.178 and it indicates a substantial relationship between the independent variables and dependent variables. In short, this implies that the model is fitting given that the F value is 272.178, which is more than 2, and the significant value is 0.01, which is less than 0.05. From the coefficients table, we can see that there are 3 variables which are performance expectancy, effort expectancy, and facilitating condition that have t-value that more than 1.98 and the p-value is less than 0.05. While there are 2 variables which are social influence and trust that have t-value less than 1.98 and p-value more than 0.05. As a result, the hypothesis of performance expectancy, effort expectancy, and facilitating condition is supported, while the hypothesis of social influence and trust is not supported. Hence, performance expectancy, effort expectancy, and facilitating condition has relationship with behavior intention, while social influence and trust has no relationship with behavioral intention. The independent variable that gives the most strongest impact to dependent variable is facilitating condition, as the beta is 0.526, which rank the highest among the 5 independent variables. However, social influence is the independent variables that give the weakest impact to dependent variables, as the beta rank the lowest among all the 5 variables at negative 0.024.
The data is shown as normal by the histogram chart. The distribution of the data is positively skewed. It displays a symmetrical bell-shaped curve. The p-plot suggests that the data is normally distributed, as it closely follows the straight line that indicate that the data is linear. The study's scatter plot is not homogeneous. As seen in the diagram, the random movement of the point lack a systematic structure, indicating that there is not consistent pattern or variance in the data. That's all from us. Thank you.